I want to show you a procedure on how to move tests that you've created in Microsoft Word or any other Word editor like Google Docs into Schoology. So this should be a pretty big deal. I'm working with a Spanish test that I got from Mr. Tom Rapp, and I'm going to take all my questions and I'm going to highlight them, and then I'm just going to Command-C to copy them, or Control-C to copy them. Then, over here in my browser, I have a link from, this is crazy, the College of Southern Idaho, where I can actually paste in a test to create a Blackboard test. Schoology can actually import Blackboard tests so we can use this. So I have this test copied into memory, and it's all multiple choice in this case. So this is a little picky about the way it handles this. So I'm going to go here to where it says documentation, and it tells me how to handle all these different types of test questions. So multiple choice says question on a single line, answers immediately following the question, so there can't be any spaces, and an asterisk in front of the correct choice. So there's an example. So go back over to this tab here, and I'm going to paste that in, and you can see that I've got some cleanup that I have to do, and I have to identify the correct answer. And I do apologize to every Spanish teacher I've ever had. I'm going to identify some correct answers, and they may not actually be correct. So I'm going to pause the video and clean this up, and then we will look at it again. Okay, so I've got the quiz all formatted correctly from the Word document. It did take some time to do, but hopefully now that it's in Schoology, it saved you some time in the long run. So I have each question starting with the question number, so 1 dot, 2 dot, and then the question. The question has to be on a single line, which it was not on the original quiz. Also, I had to have no break between the question and then the choices, and there's a star next to what should be the correct answer. And I'm assuming they're the correct answers. I haven't had Spanish for a very long time, so my apologies to every Spanish teacher everywhere if I have incorrect answers here. So that's how a multiple choice question works, and that is actually listed here in the documentation. So it's kind of picky, and this tells you these different question types. This last question, number 11, the extra credit question, it's going to treat it like an essay or short answer question when I get it into Schoology, because I have nothing underneath it. I have no choices there. I just have to put the question, and it assumes it's a short answer or an essay type question. So I'm going to click on Create Quiz, and if I did it correctly, it should tell me I've got 11 complete questions, and I'm ready to download the package. So I'm going to download the package, and it's a Blackboard quiz. And I'm just going to take this, and I'm actually going to drag it to the desktop. That's just my habit. I like to work from the desktop a lot. So it's over there. Now, over here in Schoology, I'm inside of a class. So in this class here, I'm going to go to Add Materials, and then I'm going to go Add Test or Quiz, and I'm going to call it, whatever it's supposed to be, which is that. Okay. And I'm going to give it a due date, and I'm going to give it a certain number of points, let's say 50 points, multiple of 10. Give it a category, whatever you're using in your class, and then give it a scale. Probably in a quiz, most of the time you're using the numeric scale. Okay, yours might look a little different if you have a linked class in which you can do the publish to students, turn that on, turn that off for your management of the quiz. So I create the quiz, and it takes me into the quiz editor, and here is where I actually import everything. I'm going to go to Add Question, and there is Import from Test or Quiz. So I'm going to pull that down, go to Import Test or Quiz, and I'm importing a Blackboard quiz technically. We go to Next, and then this little button here lets me search for the file, and then I'm going to find that file that I had saved to the desktop, Blackboard Quiz 3, open it, import it, and look what we have here. We have 10 multiple choice questions, gives me a summary, 1 essay question, and I can go through, make sure that it looks the way that I want it to look. I can also go in here and go to Edit and make sure that if I need to randomize the choices, or if I need to change the number of points each question is worth, it does import them as 1 point each. I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to save that question. Now, by the way, this is unavailable by default, so even if it is published to your students, it's important to publish to your students so they see the due date on this thing. But you can use this unavailable here, go into your settings, and change it to allow attempts, and you can allow attempts from and allow attempts until, so you can control that for your class, okay? So once you have that all together, save changes, and you've got your quiz. Now, because you've worked so hard on getting this here into Schoology, do make sure that from your home page here, I'm going to do this little drop down, and I'm going to go to Save to Resources, and if I've got a folder for my Spanish classes in here, I'm going to save it to my home resources, or if I'm in perhaps a Spanish department or World Languages department group, I can save it to my group resources as well. But definitely save a copy so you can use this again in the future. Anyway, I hope that helps. Please contact your Innovative Learning coaches if you need further assistance with trying to create quizzes from Word docs or Google Docs.